this video, we will be looking at how to find the volume and surface area of cones and spheres. So to begin, we will start with the cone. The volume is almost the same as the volume of a cylinder, which is pi r squared h, but because your cone comes up to a single point, we divide it by 3. So pi r squared h divided by 3 for the volume. The surface area is made up of a circle. So if you remember, the area of a circle is pi r squared. And then you have this cone part, this lateral surface, and that area is pi rs, where s is the slant height of your cone. So we have the actual height that starts from the point straight down to the base, and you have the slanted portion that is your slant height. So let's begin with our first example. So volume is pi r squared h divided by 3. I'm going to label what all of these dimensions are. The 3 is the radius, the 4 is the height, the 5 is the slant height. So in terms of the volume, I do not need that 5. So pi, radius is 3, so 3 squared, height is 4, all divided by 3. And then we can go to our calculator and plug this in. And we're going to round to 1 decimal, and we get approximately 37.7 centimeters cubed. And there we are for the volume. Our surface area is going to be pi r squared, so the circle, and then pi rs, that slanted portion. So pi, then the radius is 3 squared, pi, radius is 3, slant is 5. And then we can split this into 2 calculations, or you can even plug this in all at once. So pi r squared is 28.3 roughly, and pi times 3 times 15 is approximately 141.4. And then we can add these up. And like I said, you could have plugged this all in at once and got your final answer right away, and that would work as well, or you can split it off like I did here. And we get 169.7 centimeters squared for our surface area. So that's it, 2 formulas for the cone. All right, let's try one more example here. I'm going to write our general formulas so that they are ready to go. Now, one thing I'm going to say when we're labeling everything, the 48 is the height, the 50 is the slant height, the 28 is not the radius. The 28 is the diameter because it's all the way across. So I actually have to divide this in half to get my radius of 14 meters. So we're using 14 meters for R, 48 for H, and 50 for S. So I want you to pause the video here and try out the volume and then come back to check your work. So for your setup, you should have pi 14 squared times 48 for the height, all divided by 3. And when we plug that into your calculator, hopefully you got approximately 9,852.0 meters cubed. Make sure your units are cubed here because it's volume. And then let's pause again, and I want you to try the surface area, putting your dimensions in carefully, simplifying, and then come back to check your work. So we should have pi 14 squared plus pi times 14, and be careful here, the slant is 50, not the 48. And when we clean this up, we can clean it up in multiple steps. So I will show the multiple step, although if you did not, that would be fine, of course. And in each process I did round to 1 decimal. And when we add up our numbers, we get approximately 2,814.9 meters squared. And again, meters squared for surface area, meters cubed for volume. So that is the cone. All right. The last set of formulas is for a sphere. What's nice about the sphere is you only need the radius. So the volume is 4 pi r cubed divided by 3, and the surface area is 4 pi r squared. Just the radius is needed. You plug it in and simplify. So let's begin with our first example. I will write the general formula for us. Our radius is 2. So 4 pi 2 cubed divided by 3. And then we'll go to our calculator. So 4 times pi times 2 to the power of 3 divided by 3 at the end. And we should get approximately 33.5 feet cubed. And then let's try surface area, 4 pi r squared. Our radius is 2, so 4 pi 2 squared. And we will plug that in, 4 times pi times 2 squared. And we get approximately 50.3 feet squared. So the sphere formulas, I think, are the quickest just because there is literally just one dimension you require, which is the radius. So go ahead and try this last one. We already have our formula and you can see it up here. So pause the video, try the volume, then come back to check your work. So you should have 4 pi, then instead of r cubed, we'll write 6 cubed, all divided by 3. And when we plug this into our calculator, we get approximately 904.8 meters cubed. Check your rounding, check your units. Now I want you to pause the video, set up your surface area, then come back to check your work. So 4 pi 6 squared is what we should have. And when we plug that into our calculator, 452.4 meters squared. So the cone and the sphere formulas tend to be a lot quicker, and hopefully the formulas seem a little more straightforward, especially for surface area, because for prisms and pyramids, we tend to look at the individual faces, whereas for cones and spheres, you just have this nice formula ready for you. And that's it.